Hello everyone. Now let's see about the expenses. Managing the financial expenses efficiently is important for the financial success of any firm. Using CDAR, we can manage the expenses efficiently here, where we can set the employees to get their expenses paid either directly or through reimbursement in Payslip or by petty cash. We can also approve those expenses and post the journal entries. For this, we'll have to go to the expenses. Here we can view all the expenses of the particular user under reporting, my expense reports. Here we could view the responsible person's expense reports. So for creating a new expense, first we'll have to create an expense product. For this, we'll have to go under configuration. We have expense products. These are the expense products that has been created. For creating a new one, we can make use of this create option here. We can specify the product's name, the type of the product, the cost of it, the unit of measure. We can also specify the expense account and the vendor taxes here. If we want to add an image for this expense product, then we can add it here. After filling out the necessary details, we can click on the save option. Now a new expense product has been created. Now for creating a new expense, we'll have to go under my expenses and create. We'll have to specify the description, the product. I'm adding the product here. And the unit price of it should be added. The quantity of it can be added here. If you want to add any taxes, you can add it here. Then, if we want to add the bill reference, we can add the bill reference, the date of it, and the account details for this expense should be added here. And the employee whom we are mentioning this expense to, that detail should be added here. Then the currency and other details should be specified. Next, we can also mention how it is paid by. If it is directly paid by the employee, then we can choose the employee option. If it is paid by the company, we can choose the paid by company. If it is to be reimbursed in Payslip, we can choose it here. Or if it is paid by petty cash, we can choose it here. Now we'll have to save this expense and create the report. If we want to attach any documents, then we can attach it here too. Now, if we want to submit this expense to our manager, then we can make use of the submit to manager option. The submitted expenses can be viewed under reporting, under to approve. We could view all the submitted expenses here. Now, in order to approve this expense, I'm viewing this and I'm approving this. Now, this expense has been moved to the approved state. For posting the journal entries, we can click on the post journal entries. Now we can see that it has moved to the posted state. For registering the payment, we can click on the register payment. We'll have to choose the payment method here and the amount to be paid. After mentioning the details, we can click on the validate option here. Now we can see that it has moved to the paid state. Now we can view the journal entry too. Now we could see that from the account payable, the amount has been credited. Next, we can create an expense and reimburse it in Payslip. Now I'm adding the product here. The quantity details should be mentioned. And I'm mentioning the Payslip to reimburse. I'll have to mention the date. Now the account should be mentioned and the employee whom we are going to reimburse it should be mentioned. Then here the payslip date should be mentioned here. Now I'm clicking on the save option. And then if I need to attach any documents for this, I can attach the documents here. Now I'm creating the report. Now we should add the expense report summary here. The employee details should be mentioned here and the payslip date should be mentioned and the manager and branch details should be mentioned. In the expense, we'll have to specify the line. So I'm mentioning the biscuit here. And then I'm clicking on the save option. In order to submit it to our manager, we'll have to click on the submit to manager. Now I can approve or refuse this. Now I'm approving the expense here. Now it has moved to the approved state. So in order to reimburse it in payslip, we'll have to go to the payroll. Under employee payslips, we'll have to create the payslip. We'll have to choose the employee here. And the period for generating the payslip. The contract and salary structure details should be mentioned. Then we'll have to click on this compute sheet here. Then we'll have to click on the compute sheet. Now under salary computation that the expense has been reimbursed here. We can view the salary rule here. A salary rule must be defined for expense for reimbursing it in payslip. We can view it here. This is the rule for expense. We'll have to define the name, the category, the code for it. Sequence number should be mentioned. If it needs to be on payslip, then we'll have to check in this. And the conditions and computation method should be specified. Now I'm confirming this payslip. Under accounting information, we could view the accounting entry here. Next, we can also proceed the employee payslip payment. We'll have to mention the payment date and the payment journal. And the amount to be paid should be mentioned here. And then confirm. Now we can see that it has moved to the paid state. Under accounting, we could view the journal entries for the bank here. We'll have to go under journal entries. Under the bank journal, we can view the journal entries here. Now we can see that from the salary journal account, the amount has been credited. Now, next let's see how to manage it through petty cash. For managing it through petty cash, we'll have to initially set up a petty cash holder. For setting up this, we'll have to go under accounting. Under configuration, we have petty cash. Here we can define the petty cash holder and the account for it. I'm viewing an existing one. We can define the petty cash holder and the petty cash account, the journal for it. Maximum limit and the balance can be set up here. For creating a new one, we can create using this create option here. We'll have to mention the petty cash account and the journal for it. The maximum limit can be specified. After defining the petty cash holder, we'll have to define the balance for the petty cash, and for this we can go under accounting and we can do it through journal entries. I'm creating is using the create option here, and the journal items I'll have to mention the account, and under partner name I can specify the name, and the amount to be debited can be mentioned here. And I am choosing the bank account. And then I'm clicking on the save. And I'm posting this. Now, under accounting, we can view it under petty cash. You can see the balance amount has been set up here. Now, let's record an expense and pay it through petty cash. I'm clicking on this create option. We'll have to mention the product. And the employee here. I'm choosing it as petty cash. We'll have to mention the petty cash holder. And then click on the save and create report. Now I can submit it to the manager. And approve this. Now we can see that it has moved to the approved state and we can post the journal entries. Now we can see that it has moved to the paid state and the journal entries has been posted. We can view the journal entries here. And under accounting, we can view it under journal entries that has been posted. We can view the journal entry here. Now, under petty cash, we can also see that the amount has been reduced from the balance. Under reporting, we can view the expense analysis here. This is the graph view representation of all the expenses. We can also view it by the bar chart, line chart and pie chart. We can also view it through the pivot view here. And we can also view it by the list view. Here we can view it by the date, description, the employee details, how they have been paid by, and the total amount and the status of it can be viewed here. We could also view it through Kanban view. To customize this, we can also make use of the filters and group by options that we have, and then we could add it to our favorites too. Under reporting, we could view all the expense reports that has been submitted and are to be approved in the to approved. We could also view it and approve it here. If we want to refuse it, we can refuse it too. We'll have to mention the reason for it and then click on the refuse. Now we can see that it has moved to the refuse state. All the approved reports and those are waiting to get post can be viewed here. Next, under to pay, all the posted reports that are waiting to get paid can be seen here. Under my expense reports, we can view all the responsible persons reports here. That's how we manage our expenses efficiently here. Thank you.